If you're not tracking your leads properly, you're leaving money on the table, plain and simple. I talk to HVAC owners all the time who think they need more marketing, more ads, and more SEO. But the truth is that they don't even know what's happening with the leads that they already have. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you're losing jobs without realizing it and how tracking your customer journey can actually plug these holes and boost your profits without spending a dime more on advertising. And if you want the full document from this video, plus SOPs, scripts, automations, and other tools that we give our clients, they're all inside my free Facebook group. You'll find a link for that below. And if you're more of a one-on-one type of person and you want help building this out for your business, there's a link for that too, or we can chat one-on-one. Most HVAC companies aren't losing money because they're bad at what they do. They're losing money because they don't know where they're losing it. So I'm going to break down for you some common scenarios. So first, a potential customer calls in while your office is busy. Nobody answers. This is a classic. Someone fills out a website form, but your office doesn't respond for a few hours. Then by then, they've called 3 other companies, and you can't really blame them for doing this. If I'm sweating balls on a hot summer day, like I'm gonna call someone that's gonna answer the phone or respond to my form submissions instantly. I want someone to come and fix my issues right now. Next is an estimate being sent out, but nobody is consistently following up with it, so you just get ghosted. And then finally, a job is completed, but nobody asks for a review or a referral. And these aren't just inconveniences, these are where profit is leaking in your business. And most of these things happen between the big steps. So, not during the job itself, but during the handoffs. So, think about from lead to booked appointment, from appointment to estimate sent, and from estimate to close job. When no one is tracking these handoffs, it's really easy to assume that everything is running fine. But when you take a closer look, there's gaps everywhere. And these gaps are actually costing you tens of thousands of dollars a month and you don't even realize it. So before you even think about getting more leads, you have to fix this leaky bucket. Otherwise, you're just going to be pouring water into holes. Now, you've probably heard this before: what gets measured gets managed. But I want to take it a step further and say what gets tracked consistently gets improved permanently. In your HVAC business, tracking isn't just about the numbers, it's about making decisions. So, should you hire more techs? Only if you know your current close rate. Are you spending enough on ads? Only if you know how much it costs to book a job from those ads. Is your team following up properly? Only if you can see where leads are falling off. Most owners just operate off gut instinct and say things like, I think we're doing okay this month. But when you actually track your pipeline, so leads, appointments, estimates, closed jobs, it stops being a guessing game because now you start operating with precision and you can finally say things like, we got 40 leads this month and we booked 30 of them, sent 28 estimates, and closed 16. Here's where we lost the rest and here's how we fix it. And this is what you want. You want real control because this is exactly how you grow. Now I'm going to walk you through the full customer journey step by step. Now this is obviously going to be general. It's going to vary from company to company, but you'll start to see and get an idea of how not tracking these steps leads to lost revenue. So the first one is a new unassigned lead, and this is where it all starts. So someone calls, someone fills out a form, they message you online. If this lead is not assigned immediately, let's say to a dispatcher, to office staff, or to a technician, it's just floating in limbo, and this delay could be all it takes to lose that lead. Next, we have an assigned lead. So once it's assigned, someone becomes responsible for this lead, but just assigning it isn't enough. So if this person isn't following up quickly enough, this lead is going to cool off. People don't wait, they move on. As I mentioned earlier, people want their issues fixed fast. Next is the first appointment scheduled. So this is a key when it's getting your foot in the door, but many HR companies take way too long to schedule, or the customer actually has to come chase you, and that becomes a big problem. And if you don't book quickly, you lose trust, and it's also unprofessional. So you don't want that. Next is the on-site estimate. So you're going to show up, you're going to diagnose, explain the solution, which is all awesome, but the critical moment is actually between needing to send an estimate and estimate sent. So this right here is actually one of the biggest leaks. So you've done the work, but the estimate hasn't gone out, or maybe it went out, but no one is consistently following up. The customer is waiting and then disappears. Sending an estimate late is one of the fastest ways to lose a hot lead, which is common sense, but a lot of people don't actually know how to solve this problem. Next is the estimate accepted or rejected stage. You need to know how many estimates are getting accepted and how many aren't, and why you're actually getting accepted or declined estimates. Without tracking this, you don't actually know your close rate, which means you're not going to know what to fix. So, for example, pricing, presentation, urgency, or anything like that. So now let's say that they accepted your estimate. You're going to be waiting. You should be getting a post-sale checklist and then starting to schedule the job. So they said yes, but if your team isn't following up to collect details or schedule the job, then the deal obviously just falls apart. So most owners actually just assume if the customer says yes, it's locked in, but it's not until it's actually scheduled in the calendar. Then we have, is the job complete? So was the job done? Was payment collected? Was the customer happy? Did you ask for a review or a referral? Finally, we have the job status. So this is won or lost. And at the end, every job needs to be marked clearly. Did you win this job or did you lose this job and why? This is the only way to know how effective your sales process is. And every single one of these steps is an opportunity to win or lose money. And if you're not tracking specifically these moments, you're making decisions without data. Now, this is exactly where a conversion system comes in. You can build a system that maps out this entire customer journey, every single stage that I just talked about, and more, so you can see exactly where every lead is, what needs to happen next, and who's responsible. And here's what gets tracked. You can see it's basically everything that I just went over on the last slide. So when a lead comes in, it's going to be unassigned. Then when you assign the lead, it's going to go into the assigned stage, appointment booked, first appointment schedule stage, and so on. You can read the rest here. And at every single step, the system will actually update and automate key tasks. So just to give you some examples, at certain stages, it'll send reminders, it'll send estimate follow-ups, trigger review and referral requests after the job is complete, and it'll update pipeline status. So when you think about it, it's like having a project manager, admin, and a follow-up assistant all in one system. So most importantly, it gives you, the owner, total visibility into every lead, every job, and every single dollar. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what you can actually do when you have this data. So once you're tracking this entire customer journey, this is what becomes possible. First, you're going to be able to fix your bottlenecks. So if you're getting lots of leads, but few estimates are being sent out, you know that there's a problem in scheduling or following up. And if you're sending out a lot of estimates, but you're closing very few, maybe it's a pricing or a sales issue. So it gives you that clarity and you're going to be able to see where your bottlenecks are and start to be able to make decisions on how to fix those bottlenecks. Next, you're going to be able to coach your team. So you're going to be able to see which techs or which sales reps are crushing it and which ones need help. So you're going to stop managing on guesswork and you're going to start managing with actual performance data. Third, and this is actually a really important point, you're going to be able to forecast your revenue. And what I mean by this is when you know how many leads are at each stage of the funnel, you can predict how many jobs you're going to close in the next 30, 60, or 90 days. And this gives you clarity around hiring, cash flow, and growth planning. It's going to give you a sales velocity number, so you're going to be able to plan ahead. Fourth, you're going to be able to re-engage cold leads. So if you have leads that are lost or ghosted, you're going to have a list of every single one of them. And you can trigger automations to bring them back into your pipeline with better, newer offers. Finally, you're going to be able to identify your real close rate. So you'll finally know how many of your leads are actually becoming jobs, and you'll see how improvements at each step of this customer journey increases revenue without needing more leads. So you're going to be going from blind guesswork to precise control. And this might sound harsh, but it's the truth. You really have no business spending money on marketing if you're not tracking what happens after the lead comes in. So don't think about spending money on Google Ads until you know how many of your current leads are turning into jobs. Don't try to scale your business until you've plugged in the holes in your follow-up and scheduling. And do not chase more traffic until you're actually converting the traffic that you're already getting. Because scaling a broken system doesn't create growth, it just creates chaos. And by putting tracking in place first, everything else becomes easier and cheaper. You're going to spend less on leads because you're closing more of them. You're going to keep your team busy without chasing more volume, and you're going to grow smarter, not just harder. Most importantly, you finally have a business that you can control and predict. Now, let me just run you through really quickly what we covered. Most HVAC businesses leak profit not because of bad work, but because of missed follow-up, late estimates, poor scheduling, and a lack of visibility on the customer journey. What gets tracked can be improved, so you can't fix what you can't see. Tracking is going to give you this clarity, control, and confidence. The full customer journey matters. From new lead to job one, every single stage is a chance to either gain or lose money, and most businesses lose it in the handoffs between all of these stages. A conversion system will track every single step. So it's going to automatically update lead status, triggering follow-ups, and show you exactly where things stand. With all of this data, you're going to be able to fix your broken processes, coach your team more effectively, predict revenue, recover cold leads, and improve your close rate. And all of this really important tip, all of this becomes before growth. So before you start spending money on ads, trying to scale, you need a system that ensures no lead gets left behind. More leads don't always grow your business. More closed jobs from the leads you already get. This is where the profit lives. And tracking it is how you unlock it. Anyway, if you want the full breakdown from this video, as I've said earlier, plus SOPs, scripts, automations, and other tools that we give our clients, all inside our free Facebook group, you can find a link to that below. As I said, if you're more of a one-on-one person, you want me and my team to come help you build this out for your business, there's also a link for that below.